from the shores of beautiful Lake Coeur d'Alene in the heart of North Idaho. Local, regional, national, and international guests discuss their topics on our forum, the North Idaho College Public Forum. With your host and moderator, political scientist, Tony Stewart.
I'm very pleased to welcome you to our program. We're very fortunate to have three international students with us today from Eastern Europe, and we're going to discuss life in their country and how they react to life in our country. I want to first of all express my appreciation to Skip Cook, who for a number of years has made this opportunity available to us to have at least one program a year with students that she works with from other countries. She is to be commended for her many years of doing this type of work in which we have a greater understanding of other cultures. Welcome to our program. We're so pleased to have you here. As we start out the program, I'm going to ask each of you to briefly introduce yourself. Dima, we want to start with you, if you would please, and welcome to our country. Understand that you are from Russia. Would you introduce yourself and just tell us briefly about yourself?
Okay. My name is Dmitry, and for short it's Dima. I live in Russia, and in a part of Russia which called Siberia. It's not very cold there, and during the summertime it's very good, and you can spend your time like here, and the nature looks like in Idaho. So I'm not very surprised, like mountains and forests. It's okay.
Welcome to our country and welcome
Thanks.
to our show. We're very delighted to have you here. Our second guest, Angie, is from Germany, and welcome to the program. Would you introduce yourself and tell us just briefly about where you are from?
I'm Angie. I'm coming from Berlin, Germany. That's the capital, so it has 3,500,000 people. And it's quite big when you compare it with Coeur d'Alene. And outside the city, the nature is very flat, and so here I'm very pleased to see all the mountains and the seas, the lakes. It's great.
Welcome to our country and especially to our program. We're so looking forward to our interview with you. And Melise, would you introduce yourself, please?
Yep, thank you. I'm Melise, and I came up here from Asia, and my country is called Turkmenistan, which is used to be part of Soviet Union, but right now we're independent for 8 years. And I came from capital of my country, which is called Ashgabat, and it's hot over there.
Yes, but before the Soviet Union broke up, Turkmenistan was one of the republics within it, as you indicated. But welcome to our country and also to our program.
Thank you.
And I'm very pleased to have our regular panelists to ask the questions today. First of all, it's Janelle Burke, who's an attorney in the state of Idaho. And next to her is Steve Shink, who is the Vice President for College Relations and Development at North Idaho College. And we shall invite Janelle Burke to commence today's questioning.
We began with just a little bit of a brief introduction of what it was like in your country, but I'd like to continue in that line of questioning. And let's start with Melise this time. And can you tell us just a little bit more about what your parents do or what your home is like in your country?
Yep, thank you. As about my country, is that 80% of my country is desert, and like on the south part there's some kind of mountains, but they're not so hard, and weather is kind of warm, and you can't see the like kind of snow. Just sometimes you can see snow very often. And as about my parents, they both are teachers, and my father is teacher at the university. And I have 2 sisters and 2 brothers.
Do you live in a conventional house or do you live in an apartment type dwelling?
Yeah, like most of people in my country like used to live in a kind of apartment. If you live in the city, you live in an apartment kind of house. And
so that's where you grew up?
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
How about you, Angie?
I was very surprised to see all the family houses here. I just knew apartments, and so my family is living in an apartment. I've got a brother. He's 12 years old. My father is a physician and my mother a physical therapist.
So they both work?
They both work, yeah. We are very happy that we are both working.
And do you have an extended family like grandmother or grandfather, aunts and uncles who live close by?
Yeah, most of them are living in Berlin. And my grandparents, the parents from my mother, they are living in close to Berlin.
And how about you? What is your home like?
As you know, Russia is a very big country, and my region It's not so big, but I like this region, and I live in a small town. But I live in an apartment too, and my parents, they are business people. They have their own business. They're working together.
Do you have brothers and sisters?
Yeah,
too?
I have a brother.
You have a brother. Is he younger or older than you?
He's young.
So all three of you have younger siblings. Is that correct?
Yeah.
That's Steve Sheen.
There are lots of programs that bring students about your ages to the United States to study, but I think the programs you're involved in are ones that I'm not familiar with, so the audience watching the show may not know about them either. Could you tell me just a little bit? Let's start with the Flex program. Either Malis or Dima, would you tell us a little bit about that? How does that work, and how were you selected?
I studied in BIS Lyceum, and everybody who studied English have to take part in this program. And I went with our students to the central of our region, and we had a big test like in English, and they asked us about what I want to expect and to be in US, and the question about English, and we had an English test for knowing of English.
How many students in your school, Dima?
In my school, 3,000.
Are any other students, that's a big school, any other students involved in this program too?
Yeah, from all region, and probably it was like 2,000 students in this program in Altai region.
But just from your school?
Oh,
just from your school. Anyone else going to the United States?
Yeah, anybody can go there.
Good. Malis, how about you? How did you get involved in the program?
Like to participate in this kind of program, you have to be 15 or 16. And just like about my school, it's the only single school in my country, and like there's only 500 people, and like to get into my school, you have to take kind of a test in English too. So kind of I was well prepared for this test too, and my teacher, she was really helpful for me to participate in this program. And like there was only 30 students who was allowed to go to United States, and it was really hard competition, and you just had to win.
I see.
Yeah.
Antje, you're in a different program. Would you tell us about that?
I came here with the Congress Bundestag program. It's an exchange program through the Congress and the Bundestag.
The U.S. Congress and the
US
Bundestag, which is
the German Congress.
Yes.
And they established this program after Second World War. They wanted to express the American-German friendship more, and they thought that the American people can learn a little bit more about the German culture without coming to Germany when German exchange students are coming there, and the other way around, that the Germans can learn more about the American culture when American students came to Germany.
And how big is your school?
We are 600.
600 students. Are there any others that you know who are? You're the only one you know of in this program.
Not in the program, but from my school.
From your school, okay.
The program, I think there are over 300 students.
From Germany.
From Germany.
Now, I'll use a word here that you may not understand, but I'll explain it to you. Is this a reciprocal program? In other words, are there American students going to school in your countries as well? Do you know that? Or not?
I think that in our school we don't have American students, but maybe 2 years ago we had it.
It might be hard to find many American students who speak Russian well. That would be a limiting factor. Also, do you know of any students from America in your school?
No, actually they don't study at my school, like a regular school, but there's a special school for like kids of ambassadors, so American kids go over there.
I see. Now German, you'd find a few more American students who can speak German than Russian. Yeah. Any American students at all in your school, aren't you? No. But you're going to take back news.
Yeah.
And friends, we hope.
I hope so.
Wonderful. Thank you.
But this program that you're in, the Congress Bundestag program, has students going both ways.
Yeah.
Exchanges in the countries, just not in your school.
In the country. And they're the same amount of students.
Same number of students going both ways. So it'd be about 300 American students going there and 300 from Germany at this time.
About, yeah.
Yes, thank you very much. Well, I want to shift gears a little bit here. Dima, you have been kind enough to tell us that you enjoy music and that you do play the guitar, and you're going to, I believe, honor us with a song. I'll ask our staff at this time if they would bring the guitar on the stage for you.
Yeah.
And if you would do that at this time, we'd really appreciate it. And would you share with our audience what you're going to do now that you get your musical instrument there? I believe you're going to do a Russian number for us.
Yeah, this is a Russian song, folk song, and this song is about the guy and the girl. They loved each other, but something was wrong.
Oh, they loved one another, but something went wrong.
Yeah.
We've heard a few of those songs in this country.
It's like country western music.
It sounds like a western. Maybe also that could be a lot of the songs that are out of Nashville, Tennessee, where you have a lover and you lose them. Is that something similar to what you're doing?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you for doing that.
Я спросил у ясеня, где моя любимая? Ясень не ответил мне, качая головой. Я спросил у тополя, где моя любимая? Тополь забросал меня осеннюю листвой. Я спросил у осени, где моя любимая? Осень мне ответила правильным дождем. У дождя я спрашивал, где моя любимая? Долго дождик слезы лил под моим окном. Я спросил у облака, где моя любимая? Облако растаяло в небесной силе. Друг ты мой единственный, где моя любимая? Ты скажи, где скрылась, знаешь, где она? Друг ответил искренне, друг ответил преданный. Была тебе любимая, любимая, была тебе любимая, а стала мне женой.
Thank you so much. We really appreciate that. It's very kind of you to do that. Now I'll go to Janelle, but I should tell you that Janelle Burke is also a musician and loves music, and so I know she appreciated it.
That was really fun. And now can each one of you tell a little bit about what other interests you have? What do you like to do in your country? We know that Dima likes music. Melis, what about you? What are some of your interests that you like?
Music takes like kind of, I guess, in the life of teenagers, most part, I like to go to disco parties and dance around. It's really good. But like most of kids also like to study. It's really hard, and comparing to American school, I mean, you don't have free time to have parties around, because you have to study 6 days and almost 7 subjects every day, so it's hard.
So you have school 6 days a week?
Yeah, that's the difference.
Do you have sports at school?
Yeah, you can participate at PE class, physical education, but you can go to the other sports too.
Do you have competitive sports where you maybe play basketball against another school?
Yeah, but mostly it happens one district plays against another district. You just make your own team and you can go and play. Yep.
What are some things that might interest girls, Angie?
I like volleyball, and I'm in a team right now here.
Oh, are you?
Yeah, it's fun.
And you're playing competitively here?
Yeah.
And what other kinds of things might girls be interested in? Do you mall hop? Do you go to the mall?
Not very often, but when I have time, I think I will do it, yeah.
Do girls shop?
Yeah, they do.
They like that everywhere.
They like it everywhere. I'm very interested in theater.
Oh, yes.
I love to play theater.
You like to be in a play? Or
I like to be in a play, yeah. I think I will try it here.
And you've had some experience with that in your own
Yeah.
school. Can you tell us just a little bit about that?
It wasn't in a school, because in our schools we don't have that much extra curricular activities.
Yes.
So I tried to do it in another thing, in a community center in Berlin. And we had a stage play for children, Alice in Wonderland. And I played there for about a year.
Steve Sheen.
Dima, you said that the country, you used the term nature here, is similar to that in your home. Was there anything that surprised you when you came here? What struck you as most unusual or most different?
In school, we study here 5 days, and in Russia we study 6 days.
6 for you too.
Yeah, and the classes are the same every day. So, and in Russia, every day we have different classes, and it was very different and shocked me.
Angie, how about you? What struck you as the most different thing you saw here compared to your home?
I think the patriotism. They have pledged to the flags in the school, and they have flags in every single room and in the gym, and everybody is saying, "I'm proud to be an American." Nearly everybody, and that's a thing I don't know from Germany.
I see.
You have really to siege to find a flag, and you don't have the pledge to the flag. And before every varsity volleyball game or football games, they're singing the national anthem.
Yeah, very common in this country. And how many days a week do you go to school?
In Germany, I go 5.
5, so it gives you a little more time to shop than the guys have. And Elise, what about you? What struck you as the most different thing you've found so far?
Kind of the most different thing that, like, I can say the weather, it's really different. And the most thing, the kind of American teenagers, because they're really friendly and so funny. Maybe, I don't know, in my school, maybe because of everybody's busy with their own studying, you don't have time to have fun, but they're always friendly, just walk in the hall, just come to you, ask questions, and always friendly. That's really impressive.
Let's talk a little bit more about school, if we can. You're here for a year. All 3 of you will be here throughout the entire American school year. Is that correct?
Yes.
And when you go back home, will you lose any time in your own schools, or will it be just as if you took the same year at home? Does that question make sense to you?
Yeah. In Russia, I will have to study 1 more year and to finish to graduate the school, and then I will enter the institute.
So you will lose a year.
Yeah.
All right. Angie?
It's up to ourselves if we lose a year. So we can take here science, and we can just go over this year. I decided to take fun stuff, like theater in school. It's great. And I will have 3 more years in school.
So you also will need to make up a year. And
It's about me. It's kind of different situation, because in my country, you have to study only 9 years. And so right now I'm graduated from in my country, so I don't have to go to school. So I kind of having fun here. I won't use anything. Like, I go back home and just go to the college.
Well, and if I may, I thought I'd just pursue that school line of questioning through its logical conclusion. Schools in Europe are a little different than they are here, I understand. You are going to go on to college. Is that based on a competitive examination? Is it very difficult to get into college in your country?
Oh yeah, that's really difficult, because as like to report, like there are always every year 75,000 kids graduate from high schools, and like maybe only 5,000 of them will be allowed to go to the colleges all over the country. So it's hard. And
Antje, do you hope to go on to college?
I will.
Is it also a competitive situation in Germany? Very difficult to get into school, or?
No, not quite that difficult. When you really want, you get it. You can do it.
Dima?
In Russia, if you have a good grade and you want to study in the institute, you can pass the test, and if they say okay, you can study.
Excellent. And you all 3 plan on going on to college?
Yeah.
Good.
I don't think I told you what I teach. I teach in the area of political science, and so government's always very interesting to me. And all 3 of you have gone through, in your country in recent years, some very major changes. And I'll start with you. And you, I assume, were We didn't think to ask you if you had grown up in West Berlin or East Berlin.
Grown up in East Berlin.
Okay, so your life has been very much affected with the fact that there's unification of Germany now. And I know you've talked to your family and others that some experiences you might not remember they would. Can you tell us your reaction and difference between when it was divided between the West Germany and East Germany, and East Germany under the communist system, and now you're a united country under a democratic process? Would you share your thoughts with us on that change?
When the wall came down, I was 7 years old, so I can remember just on some basic things. I know that I went to the bakery with a very small coin, and it doesn't really had a great amount, and I went there and I came back with a whole bag of rolls. So I know this, and my parents are mostly standing in lines. So when there's a line, they just stand in this line because there could be something. Normally it isn't there. So like bananas or TVs. My mom took vacations to get a TV. So after 1 week, we had finally one. That's things I can remember. And then I can remember when the wall came down, they first didn't believe that it would hold, that nearly everybody, some thought that the wall would build once more, rebuild, because they couldn't believe that it would work. And before the wall came down, so before the unification, in Eastern Germany, everybody had a job, and there was a big social security. So everybody had a job, and everybody got medications that you want. And now in most of the eastern parts, there's a great unemployment, and they really have to fight with it. That's the most basic thing.
But it takes time for all those changes to go into effect.
Oh yeah, it takes more time than everybody thought before.
But there are goods available to you that were not available before, different kinds of foods and so forth.
Yeah.
Right. Let's go here now next to Dima. Mm-hmm. You're in what was the largest republic, and with the separation, still the largest country. And I know, again, you're young, but you can talk to other members of your family. Can you compare the past with the present and the difference that this has brought?
So I was born in 1983, but when Soviet Union broke up, I could watch all of these changes. And before the Soviet Union broke up, my father, he was a carpenter and work. But after this, all these changes, he decided to make his own business, and after this we began to feel freedom, and everybody can choose what he wants to do, to study, to make a business, to find a job. But for all people, it was very difficult.
But the great difference is you're free now to make choices that you were not before.
Yeah, it's about me, like we already 9 years living in a democracy system. And I can't say that we just adapted to it really fast. I can see that like government goes, or just elder peoples go think the way of communistic way. But like Flex program, I think it's a great way to change it. And United States is doing a really good job, and I so appreciate it. Like we just can't come here and just every young person just learn democracy here and just go back and develop it in my country, and that's really great. And first time there was hard time living, find foods, because it just broke up, and it seems like everything is difficult, but right now it's all right. It's good now.
So, but I hear all of you saying, or I believe all of you saying, that the older members of the population have had more difficulty with the change than the younger population, because they're...
Yeah. I was 12 years old, and I think I wasn't able to realize anything. Just 4 years I'm living in that system, kind of. So it's all right with me.
Great. Janelle Burke.
I want to give each one of you an opportunity to say what you want to be when you get back to your country. What do you want to do? So let's start again with Melis.
Yeah, thank you. In my country, I would like to go and just go to the government and change system to become a government person.
You'd like to work in the government?
Yeah, I like it.
And what about you, Angie?
I have no idea. I decided to go to college, but I don't know which my majors will be. And it's very hard to find a job right now, to find the right profession. So you have an opportunity to get a good, well-paid job. So I just need some more information.
You want to get educated, and then you'll decide.
Like this.
And what about you, Dima?
I'm going to study maybe 2 more languages, maybe European languages, and going to study something about computers, computer science, something like this.
Now, I want to ask another quick question. We went pretty fast through that. What do you miss most about being in this country, away from home? What do you miss most? And let's start with Dima.
Probably my friends.
Your friends?
Yeah.
And your family?
Of
course.
I miss the public transportation in Berlin because I was very independent there. I could go where I want because they brought me everywhere. And here I have to ask everybody if they can give me a ride, if they can drop me off and pick me up. And that's...
You don't drive, I take it?
I don't drive.
Dima, do you drive? No.
We are not allowed to drive.
Okay, so none of you drive. So that is a difference.
Yeah.
Okay, what about you?
Like recently, I was missing my family pretty hard. Well, but I kind of tried to just keep being funny and just not miss it a lot, but mostly just miss my country.
Steve Sheen.
We don't have a lot of time left, but quickly, if I were your guest back in your hometown, what's the first thing you'd take me to see? What do you think is the most fun or the most impressive, or where would you take me?
I guess I'll take you to the historical places.
All right.
2 things. First, the historical places like the Brandenburger Gate, and then the Love Parade. It's a big techno parade with over 1 million people who are dancing there. It's fun.
Dima?
I think that I will go with you to fishing, maybe. I like to fish.
Well, you should take our basketball coach. He'd love to go with you.
Yes, he certainly would. We can name several people here that would love to go on the fishing trip with you. Well, on behalf of our panel and our staff, and I also want to express to Skip Cook also our appreciation, as well as you, for being with us today. It's been a delight to interview you. We've done this every year for a number of years, and you're some of the most delightful guests we've had from other countries. You have convinced us, that, although we already knew, but I should say, reinforced our belief in how important it is to have the exchange programs. We hope that your time in the United States continues to be one that's very pleasant, and we hope when you go home you'll come back sometime to visit us, and we hope to visit you sometime. Again, we thank you very, very much for being here. Ladies and gentlemen, I know you've enjoyed this program with our guests from Europe, and I'd like to invite you to be with us again next week at the same time when we shall move to yet another issue. Until then, please have a good week. I am Tony Stewart.
North Idaho College Public Forum is the longest-running public television show of its type in North America and is seen in 7 states and 2 Canadian provinces. Each episode is pre-recorded live and is an educational community outreach from North Idaho College. Please join us again at this same time next week for another new edition of North Idaho College Public Forum on this public television station.